All right, welcome everybody. Episode 3 of All My Friends Are Dads. This is Carl, me, and we're talking tonight to my colleague Taylor LeCroy. Hey Taylor, what's going on, man?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me, Carl.
Right on. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. We've got two firsts coming tonight. I guess the first of which is Taylor. So you and I were colleagues before we got to know each other a little better and become friends. And the second of which is so you're the first work person I've had on the show. And the second first is that you are the father to a just over 1-year-old son, Nash. And you are the first father of a son we've had on the show. So we're going to talk about some real manly stuff tonight or something like that.
All right. Yeah, totally. Let's get manly.
Yeah, let's break some stuff. Well, I was curious about this first. So, I mean, we work for a remote company, and how has your how is working in general, and especially maybe working from home, how has that changed now that you have a son in the house?
Well, I feel really fortunate actually to have found this opportunity, which allows me to work from home and be more present, I guess, as he grows up and goes through this young stage. As opposed to going to an office for most of the day and kind of coming home and getting an hour or two and that's it. There's certainly days where I want to kind of get away and escape for 7-8 hours, but I think all in all, yeah, mostly average it all out. It's quite a blessing to be able to be around and see him, hang out with him kind of during the day when I take a break from doing stuff at OR.
Do you keep him nearby? I know you sent in a photo one time of your workspace, and it looked like he had his little walker near your desk area. So I mean, it's not a distraction having him nearby.
I think that was probably an after hours photo. We have a wonderful person who comes over and helps out 4 or 5 days a week. She'll come from 9 a.m. to about 3:30. My wife also works from home, so that gives us a chance to focus on work. It wouldn't be possible to not have any kind of help and work from home with a kid. If you're thinking of toughing it out or just, thinking that between, you and your wife, maybe if you're both at home, there'll be one free parent at all time to kind of keep an eye on the kid. No, that doesn't work. So that's the way we have it set up right now. But, when you take a break in an office setting, sometimes you're just able to check Facebook or, maybe walk outside and get a breath of fresh air. But it's nice to be able to, go hang out, say hi to your kid, get other stuff done around the house if you want.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I could see how that'd be a nice benefit to instead of checking Facebook for the millionth time that day, actually have a human interaction with a small child who's just learning the world and everything.
It is nice, because I can pick when he's in a good mood and go do that, and then when he's screaming and crying, I can kind of lay low and act busy and
hide or say hey, you take it.
I got a meeting. I got to get on this call.
When we saw him a couple of weeks out in Colorado, he's not yet walking, right? He's kind of still. He's almost getting there. He's almost to that point.
Well, yeah, it's fun. Right now, he's just now kind of taking those first steps. So he's almost 13 months here, and he's such a big boy. I mean, he was 10 pounds 5 ounces when he was born, and he's kind of stayed on the big side. He's still on the 97th percentile. So I think it's just a lot of weight for him to learn to hold up. But he's just now kind of starting to let go of whatever he's holding on to and kind of take a few steps forward. So it's really cool to see.
So what are you guys? So I'm thinking okay, I'm a new dad, and my son or daughter needs to learn how to walk. What's the process? What books did you read? What process are you following? Or is it just here you go, fall down, figure it out?
They really kind of do it themselves. It's how does a newborn baby spider know how to spin a web? They sell toys like walker toys, little things that are really sort of picture an old person's walker, but in brightly colored plastic and a lot smaller. And that plays music, a lot of stuff like that they'll push around the floor, and that's kind of give that kind of shopping cart posture and trains the legs to get moving. So you got that, but you find that they really want to naturally just do it on their own.
So you were telling me a story the other day though that Nash kind of got away from you for a second, and then you had some like French doors or something, and it was kind of a close call. Can you tell us like relive that for us?
There's more and more of these close call moments with him now. As soon as they get mobile, it's like it's a cardio workout. We have these French doors that open up onto kind of a concrete surface, and he is tall enough now that he can reach the door handle. So if it's not double bolted, he'll walk over and reach up and grab the handle and pull it down, and then the door swings outwards. So he'll just kind of swing out with the door, and of course, if it were to get to a certain point, he wouldn't be able to hold himself up anymore, and he'd face plant. So I hustled over and kind of lunged and caught him, probably like pulled a muscle in my abdomen, but I kind of caught him just in time. There was another one just days before that. He started climbing up the staircase. Someone left the gate open on the stairs.
Oh, geez.
My wife ran up and caught him like just as he was, she was like, he heard her running up after him and turned around and was like, "Mama," and kind of just tumbled forward. And so she was able to catch him like right as his head was about to hit. But yeah, I mean, there's just going to be some times I think where they take their lumps, and you hope it's not too bad.
Yeah. I think that's school of hard knocks. Is that what they call that?
I think so. I mean, how do you learn to avoid things hurting if you don't know they hurt? I don't know.
Right. Well, so you just finished a year of parenting, your first year of parenting. I mean, was there anything going into this that you thought you knew, that you thought you had down, or you were like confident you were going to do something different from what somebody else had done, and now a year on, you're like, I had no idea, man?
You can, the best laid plans, you got to end up just kind of taking things as they come. I don't know. What did we plan on doing that hasn't really panned out? I mean, we wanted to do the whole like natural birth thing, and do no like painkillers and all that. That all went out the window as soon as labor started. But everything went fine. He was born, he was healthy, and then I think it's kind of like from that point forward, it's whatever you planned on, it's kind of like you're waking up in someone else's life and you just have to kind of roll with it, which is weird, but it grows on you and you get better at it. And
meaning like you're a parent now and you still kind of can't believe this is your new life.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a whole new set of needs to consider, like, and it starts so soon. Like I remember the first night or two in the hospital with them, and he's sleeping on my chest, and I'm whatever futon or whatever the hospital has, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, oh, it'd really be comfortable to roll over on my side right now, but there's someone else's needs to consider here. So
right.
It hits you pretty quick, but it takes, at least for me, it took a little while to settle in. But a year in now, it just feels like life. I couldn't imagine going back.
Yeah. That's funny you mentioned the natural birth. I was talking to my friend Wes, who's also there in their second daughter, and he said his wife almost punched him in the face at one point while she was in the shower trying to deliver their second daughter. It sounds like nothing can prepare you for those moments, and it's like what Mike Tyson said: everybody's got a good plan until they get punched in the face. Like, yeah,
that's so appropriate for labor. So true. You go to all these classes and you prepare for it so much, and my wife's was particularly difficult and long. I mean, it was a few days, and it's crazy. They hook them up to this machine and you can kind of see this monitor, and there's this like little thing that kind of this little waveform that shows how strong the contractions are when they're happening. Higher up this little chart goes, this little electronic graph goes, like the more pain your wife is in. So I'd be sitting there watching it, and it would spike up particularly high, and she'd be screaming and going crazy, and it's so intense, and you don't sleep. And so by the time the baby comes out, it's such a mixture of just relief and just exhaustion and just like every crazy feeling.
How long were you guys in there for?
We were in there for almost 3 full days.
Holy cow.
Pretty unusual, yeah. So they ended up having to, break her water and induce it and use Pitocin, and ended up being, delivering him via C-section. And I was able to be there, right after they took him out, and kind of saw him right before he was even taking his first breaths. He was kind of trying to, and they're over there kind of like trying to get him going. And yeah, it's a super intense moment.
And I mean, what can you as a husband do when that's happening? I mean, you're just sitting, you're watching this unfold, and what advice do you have for somebody who's about to be a husband? Be like, what's the number one thing to do in there is
yeah, I mean, be there for the baby, be there for the mom. I mean, the waterworks were in full force. I mean, my wife was still under, anesthesia. So, if you're in a C-section situation like that, just I make eye contact with the kid, tell him, introduce yourself, tell him, you're there for him. You're never going to let anything hurt him. And
the kid meaning like the baby that just came out.
Yeah, the baby. I mean, that's what I did. I don't know. I was overcome. I mean, it's just exhaustion. It was everything just kind of hitting me all at once. But soak it all in. Like those are the kind of memories that you're going to want to have for life. So make them special.
I'm going to change course because I'm interested. I was kind of interested the other day. You're from the Chicago area. It sounds like you got strong roots to the Chicago area, but now you and your wife live in LA. Nash was born out in California, but then you guys are making a trip across country to move to Carolina soon. How much does like where your roots are planted play a part in like your being a father, or what you want Nash to be brought up knowing, believing?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Chicago was kind of a chapter in our lives. We're both originally from the South. My wife's from South Carolina. I'm from Florida. We met in Atlanta and then moved to Chicago and spent several years there. But yeah, I mean, it is a deliberate move to be back closer to family. I grew up. My parents were divorced. I was pretty much an only child. My dad had 3 daughters later on with my stepmom, but growing up, it was just kind of me and I didn't. My parents did a good job kind of instilling a sense of family in me, but I think by nature of them being divorced, it was kind of having 2 separate families. And so as I've gotten older and had kids of my own, I definitely want them to experience more of a cohesive kind of family environment. And so that's certainly part of the motivation behind our upcoming move back to North Carolina, closer to where our family is, where his grandparents are. And so, yeah, I want there to be more emphasis on that, for him maybe than there was for me. Absolutely.
Yeah. An understanding that the family is there for them. I think I had a similar upbringing to yours in that. I mean, we're just a very transient family. So I could see how that would be. You didn't want to insert that, inject that, and make that a possibility for Nash coming up. I guess the other thing I was curious about too, like so much of what you do is based in like the creative world, right? Like you do a lot of design work for us, and you are a part of the design team that did President Obama's 2012 campaign in Chicago, which is like a pretty cool fun fact. When you became a father, when Nash came, is there any sort of like conscious decision you've made to say like, I want to make sure that he has a life filled with creativity, or are you just trying to let it play out, let the cards fall where they may?
Yeah, I think more let it play out. I think you kind of observe them and see what they kind of naturally gravitate towards, and that's been fun to do. I mean, my wife's family is very musically inclined. She's a designer too, so he's got all kinds of different kinds of artistic, talent in the family tree. So so far it's been interesting to see just kind of what he has a proclivity towards. He's really drawn towards musical things so far. So
have you guys gotten him his first instrument yet?
Yeah. I mean, any kind of he's got. He loves voices, singing. He dances whenever songs come on, which is really funny. So I don't know. I'm hoping he's not going to be a musician because I want him to make some money at some point in his life. But yeah, you know, I mean, there's certainly no plan to like push him into any kind of design or art field. I'll teach him whatever he wants to know, but other than that, you know, I think it's just kind of supporting what they kind of show inclination toward.
Yeah, I actually think that's kind of a fun question, and maybe it's my last question for you. Like, what's the toy that you just couldn't even like get through parenting without right now? Like, what is he obsessed with?
He is obsessed with things that don't look like toys. So we have every like shiny plastic stupid thing in the world, and all he wants to do is like play with the TV remote, you know, and, like look at the back of the toy where the little screws go in, and like try to figure that out. So I don't know. Maybe he's gonna want to be an engineer and take stuff apart. But yeah, toy wise, you know, I would say don't surround them with mountains of toys. Get, you know, 5, 10 good, well-made toys, and don't be sort of overstimulating with them. The one thing that we could not have lived without was the non-toy thing was a giant exercise ball or a yoga ball. When he was younger, probably 0 to 6 months, the only way we could get him to sleep was to hold him and bounce up and down on one of those big exercise balls. Something about the motion of that, the kind of parabolic in out motion, would just do the trick every single time. We could not get him to sleep without that. So
No kidding.
I don't know. Try that.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you that question. I'm gonna just your audio cut out just briefly when you were saying what's the first instrument you got him. So what was you were saying you actually have got him an instrument? What was it?
Well, you know, he's got toy instruments. So he's got, you know, like they sell a lot of like xylophone looking things where it's the different size bars from large to small, and they make different tones when you hit them with like a mallet. He's probably got 4 or 5 different variations of that made out of different materials and things like that, that, you know, he'll grab the TV remote and bang on that with it. And, you know, it's anything that makes a little chime he's into.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it. All right. Well, let me ask you the last question then. I mean, so we know somebody at work, Nick Crone. He's going to be a dad soon. If you were talking to Nick, I mean, what's the one tip you would tell him? What's the one thing that you've learned that you would say, this is my one piece of advice for you?
You know, I would say just prepare to give more of your energy, of your time than you maybe even thought possible. You know, and even with your wife, with the relationship there and the dynamic there, prepare to give more than maybe you're thinking that she's going to give, because there's so much more total work to do now. And I think couples a lot of time have a tendency to argue about, you know, who's pulling more weight or who's cleaning up more, or this or that. And there's so much more of that to do, that if you're inclined toward that kind of arguing, it's going to be even worse. So yeah, just prepare to be selfless. You know, you come last. You're never going to have free time. Just do the work, and the higher highs will be worth the lower lows. And that's about it.
Right on, man. That's great. Well, thank you. I appreciate the time today. If anybody has questions, can they tweet to you? You're on Twitter, right?
I am, yeah. At Taylor LeCroy, my first name, my last name.
Brilliant. I'll post it alongside the episode so people can do that too. But Taylor, thanks again. I appreciate it. Best of luck to you and Nash and the family. And thanks everybody for listening. This has been episode 3. More episodes to come, and you can tune back and check out episodes 1 and 2. First one with my friend Oakley Hall, and the second one with my former college roommate Wes Witt. Lots of good stuff in there, along with everything we've talked about today. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon. Take care.